What I love about Hammonton the most is the people that live here.
The people? The people are fantastic.
La calidad de las personas.
The way the community gets together.
It seemed like a sense of community.
Yeah, strong sense of community.
I love how sincere everyone in Hammonton is.
We're also rooted in tradition here.
The traditions among the town.
The art.
Activities and sports.
The bar and restaurant scene.
Events.
Friends and families.
The small town feel of Hammonton.
I would love to see Hammonton have more biking trails.
I feel like we need to expand more on the arts.
There can be more inclusivity with everybody.
I'd like to see the diversity continue.
More outdoor dining.
More playground equipment that's updated.
Accessible playgrounds and open spaces.
Downtown they should have more stores and stuff, for people to go in.
More police officers on duty at night.
Even more artists.
I would like to see movie theater here.
Más eventos comerciales.
More people here need to get more involved.
I think it's important to get involved.
It would be nice to see more people involved because it really is a wonderful town.
Hammonton Heart and Soul is Grassroots, an apolitical project that aims to connect people with what they love about where they live. A small group of Hammonton volunteers have worked collectively to help get this project going. We've been around town chatting with residents and having candid conversations, asking what their hopes and dreams are for the future of Hammonton. We want to collect more stories. We want your story. And we are intentionally seeking out the voices of those who are rarely heard. We seek to first determine what matters to the people of Hammonton and then use this information to steer change rather than simply respond to it. Through Heart and Soul, we hope to be able to identify the qualities that Hammonton residents really treasure The people, the places, the experiences that make us who we are. We are just beginning our work, and we want to hear from many more of you. Once we collect and review the information, we will use this data as a launching pad for local businesses, community leaders, and organizations to steer the course of our collective future. We aim to grow in a manner that Hammonton residents will embrace and trust. We ask you to consider participating in Heart and Soul and share your insights with us. Help us to build a home we love. Together, we can help create change to make Hammonton better for all of us.
Hammonton Heart and Soul es un proyecto sin fines políticos que tiene como objetivo conectar a las personas con lo que aman sobre donde viven. Un pequeño grupo de voluntarios de Hammonton que han trabajado colectivamente para ayudar a poner en marcha este proyecto. Actualmente estamos realizando entrevistas para poder involucrar a los residentes en conversaciones sobre sus esperanzas para el futuro de nuestra ciudad. Esperamos involucrar a todos en nuestra comunidad y estamos buscando intencionalmente las voces de aquellos que rara vez se escuchan. Buscamos primero determinar lo que le importa a la gente de Hammonton y luego usar esta información para dirigir el cambio en lugar de simplemente responder a él. A través de Heart and Soul, esperamos poder identificar las cualidades que los residentes de Hammonton realmente valoran, la gente, los lugares, las experiencias que nos hacen ser quienes somos. Que realizamos más entrevistas y escuchamos a muchos más residentes de Hammonton. Una vez que recopilemos y revisemos la información, utilizaremos estos datos como plataforma de lanzamiento para que las empresas locales, los líderes comunitarios y las organizaciones dirijan el curso de nuestro futuro colectivo. Nuestro objetivo es crecer de una manera que los residentes de Hammonton acepten y confíen. Le pedimos que considere participar en Heart and Soul y comparta sus ideas con nosotros. Ayúdanos a construir una comunidad que amemos.
Welcome to Kramer Hall. With a variety of course offerings, public programs, and continuing education opportunities, Kramer Hall is the ideal location for you to continue your academic journey. My name is Christina Birchler, and I have the pleasure of serving as the director of Stockton University's campus here in Hammonton.
And my name is Nick Zabrowski, and I'm in charge of student and community programming.
My experience at Kramer Hall has been excellent. So as the director of the Master's Program in Counseling here at Stockton, all of our classes are held exclusively here at Kramer Hall. The staff are super attentive, and we often say this is our own little family and this is our home.
Even though it's just one building, I wasn't really sure what I was going to expect, but the staff is always so nice. I say hi to literally every single person I see. I always feel so welcomed and warm when I'm here. It's just a really good environment to learn in.
I would say definitely how close-knit the town is. There's a lot of little shops, bakeries, and everything that it's a little town to explore, which I think is really cute.
So my experience at Kramer Hall, it's been amazing. I absolutely love this area. I don't have to fight over parking, which is amazing. And it's more compact. There's not a lot of people, so it feels more homey and more cohesive.
I think just the environment in general. I love the art. I love everything that's kind of comforting about it. And like I said, it's really nice to come somewhere that you just feel safe. You feel safe leaving, you feel safe coming. It's just a really nice environment.
It's like an intimate setting. I can find my professors when I want. So there's this awesome guy named Nick. He's just always there. He's on the ball, easily accessible.
It's been wonderful. Is for example, everyone's been supportive of me. When I was trying to get into a practicum, all the teachers reached out to me, and I just thought that was a wonderful thing. I didn't even have to reach out to them. They all reached out to me. It just blew my mind.
I like the small city feel, so everyone feels like they know each other. The local shops are all so wonderful and so friendly, and it's just such a nice experience exploring the town and really showing what Hammonton has to offer.
We're here for you.
Take a class.
Visit our art galleries.
Use the computer lab.
Study in some of our quiet spaces.
Meet with your clubs and organizations.
Or attend a free workshop.
There's always room for you at Kramer Hall.
resume our August 8th, 2022 meeting. We're in closed session from 6:30. Can I have a roll call, please, Frank?
Councilperson Fagioni?
Here.
Councilperson Gribben, he is by telephone. He's got stuck at work.
I am here.
Olivo?
Here.
Olivo?
Here.
Rodeo?
Here.
Woolerman?
Here.
Mayor DiDonato?
Here.
Bob Batiste, also present Bob Batiste, Public Works Manager.
Here.
Brian Howe, Conflict Solicitor.
Here.
Notice of this meeting has been posted and given to official newspapers. Please familiarize yourself with the fire exits to the right and rear of council chambers. Please do not proceed beyond the front benches without invitation from the mayor to do so. Also, each person who wishes to address council will be allotted 5 minutes.
All rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Where are you standing, Thomas?
I swear I was thinking.
Well, then I hope you weren't standing.
How do we know you were standing?
All right. With that, we'll have a public portion on, there's 2 action items tonight. We'll have a public portion. If anybody would like to speak on either one of those action items, step to the mic. And then we're also going to give you another opportunity at the end and probably during the one presentation on West End. So there'll be 3 opportunities tonight. Seeing no one, we'll close the first public portion. We'll dispense with the regular order of business. We have to have a public hearing on ordinance 017-2022, registration of foreclosed mortgage properties. Can I get a motion to open up to the public, please?
So moved.
Olivo first.
Second.
Second, Woolerman. Anybody from the public like to be heard? This is a registration of foreclosed properties. It's an ordinance through pro-champs, and basically the town is able to charge the owner of the lien holder, the mortgage holder, fee while the home is vacant. And it steps up every year. It starts at $500 and it goes to $5,000. Okay? Seeing no one, I accept the motion to close the public portion, adopt and publish.
So moved.
Olivo first.
Second.
Second, Gribben. Discussion from council. All in favor signify, excuse me.
Mayor, quick question. You just said it goes from 500 to 5,000. Is that?
Depending on the year.
Okay. Initial registration 500 and then each annual renewal 500?
Yeah, and
there's also a fee of $2,000 we can do for initial registration for vacant foreclosed property, but if nobody's in the home at all.
Okay, okay. I got you. So the sum throughout. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Additional discussion. I'm sorry, I said signify by aye. This is a roll call. I'm sorry. Frank, roll call, please.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
And Mayor DiDonato.
Yes, motion carried. With that, we'll invite you guys to explain your project on West End Avenue. West End, and please.
Can I just give a
you want to give a
2-minute introduction?
Please, Brian.
First of all, I'm sitting here in Mr. Malinsky's place. Mr. Malinsky had a conflict. Thank you for having me back. The general location is West End, Washington, Orchard, Pleasant Street. That property has been under the microscope from the town for a good 2 decades, probably 20 years, since a redevelopment agreement was discussed way back by Peter Karabashian and Associates. In 2006, we were subject to a builder's remedy suit that eventually got settled in 2011. The genesis of a lot of what you see here tonight came from that 2011 settlement. At this point, the developer who was at the forefront of that project apparently is under contract to sell the project to the individuals who you see here this evening. And I think that's a good thing because for a variety of reasons, it never really got off the ground. And that neighborhood is in need of redevelopment. If there is an area in town that meets that definition, I think that's it. So that's the overview. I have more to add, but I think given what they know about the project, I'll let them go, and then we'll see what we can add in if necessary.
Thank you very much. For the record, my name is Brian Peterman. I'm a professional engineer in the state of New Jersey.
I work for Peterman Maxey Associates in Gibbsboro, New Jersey. I have been before your planning board and zoning board on several occasions, and I'm always welcome to come back here. It's a great project, we believe. This starts with 60 townhomes on, as your solicitor said, a very underutilized, mostly vacant property that's definitely in need of redevelopment. We have three exhibits this evening, and we've labeled those A, B, and C. A is our 60-unit development. And for the record, again, as was stated earlier, West End Avenue runs basically west to east or sideways from left to right. We've got Orchard down on this way, Pleasant, and then further down is down where the other
Fairview.
I'm sorry, the distillery of the brewery is down here. I'm sorry. The other one, just for recollection, is I understand the new brewery is going to be in this location as well. Then we go down basically Washington, West End, and not quite to Messina, but that's kind of gives you the boundaries of the properties. Deals with block 2313, lots 10 through 13 and 16, block 2416, lots 1 and 19, block 2417, lot 1, block 2418, lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8. The developer intends to preserve the health of the tall poplar trees which line West End Avenue and adjust the development to keep these trees healthy in the foreseeable future. What we're looking at is, as you might see on as a closer look, we've located these trees, and what we're going to do is adjust those driveways for these units and have adjusted those buildings in hopes, and the desire is to maintain that street along that corridor, primarily along West End. Very mature trees, and they create a beautiful streetscape along there. This is the co-op building area here. There's the pavilion, the open pavilion here. There's another block building that's very difficult to see now. It's kind of overgrown. We've got basically a tree lot here. There's a long vacant building in this vicinity, and then a couple of residents that are along there that face Washington Street. That kind of gives you kind of the existing conditions and the overlay of the proposed conditions there. We're looking at anywhere between, I believe, four to 6 units in a row. We're not looking to do these long stretches of townhomes. We want to keep these tight. Working with Ryan Homes, they like to see a maximum of 6. So that's kind of where our goal is. We're looking for maintain as much green space as we can. We've got great lot depths here, so it gives us the availability to make sure that we've got the required off-street parking for residential site improvement standards with a stacked driveway. We've got some other opportunities along some of the side streets for overflow parking as well. We're looking to create green spaces around kind of the perimeter of the homes to kind of create that separation, and that what that does though is that deviates from your previous redevelopment where we're looking for a small deviation to have 20 feet instead of 30 feet between your units. But we do that to be able to create these green spaces on the perimeters. This is a conceptual nature, but we're looking now to look at stormwater management that would be on this end of West End Avenue, the east end, and then we look at the possibility of 1 or 2 basins down on that southeast side down there at the corner of Washington, West End, and Orchard. We do have a fair amount of impervious coverage there now, primarily with the long buildings, some of the loading and unloading zones, some of the gravel areas, the buildings and such. So with that and the combination of what our proposed is, we believe that although it hasn't been sized, we believe that's probably appropriate sizing for the basins. We understand that we need to meet the new standards for green infrastructure and best management practices along those lines. So we'll be incorporating that into the design as well when it ends up ultimately before the planning board. Along with the individual townhomes, we'll have 3 open space lots, and they kind of encompass around these developments and then around these as well. What that does is create creates an open space for green area. It will be owned and maintained by an HOA. In this particular case, the HOA will be maintaining the entire development, so we have a nice consistent development. We don't have to worry about one neighbor cutting the grass one day and the other. It'll be a nice consistent. We're going to have restrictions on fencing, sheds, and the like, so we don't have that hodgepodge of development. So it'll be a nice clean look in that regards. Maintain as much of the tree lines as we can that the development affords.
Each unit will be on a fee simple lot, and each unit will be under individual ownership. It's not a condominium.
Correct. Yes, it'll be a true townhome or fee simple individual lots, but they will all be part of an HOA that will want to maintain the balance of the open spaces and basements.
And importantly, all the derelict structures that were part of the old food co-op will be coming down and removed, and as well with the Hammonton package facilities, all those warehouse facilities will be
all
also
those, as well as that little building that's there, the three buildings here as we discussed, and a couple of the residents that are down there as well. There's also a
Excuse me 1 second. Just, you need to talk a little louder because people can't hear you at home.
Okay.
There's a handheld.
You
too,
want
if
to
you
do the handheld, Brian? Push that button right in the middle.
Thank you.
Better?
No, doesn't seem like.
Is that any better?
There you go.
There you go.
All right, thank you. There is also a large concrete pad that was probably a former building at one time. That will be removed as well to eliminate that. There is a retaining wall along that lines. We haven't got quite figured out where that's going to be, but there is a fairly good change in elevation to that adjoining house on lot 17. So we'll get into that with the ultimate development. Basically, we're maintaining our, as under the original, my understanding is the original redevelopment plan was a 10 unit per acre density. We're looking to maintain that for this lot. We have, with this concept or this presentation board A, we have 6.03 acres. That yields us our 60 units, which is just shy of the 10 units per acre, but we are looking to maintain that. The second board is what we call Exhibit B. This is a 65 unit development, and it gives us the option. There's 3 lots down on this north end that's may be available, that may be under contract for us. This adds about another half an acre of development for the project, and if that's the case, we'd still maintain our 10 units per unit maximum, but that would give us, in essence, another 5 units on that, and that's where the generates from the 60 to the 65. Everything else is, basically the same. We've got a little basin here if need be on this north end, but in essence, that's the same layout, other than the additional add-on of the optional half-acre property. So again, the development is intended to replace the tired industrial area and replace it with a new, attractive townhome development that is a block away from Bellevue Avenue, which is certainly the heart of Hammonton. The location is walkable to many towns' finer dining establishments along with this charming commercial corridor with unique storefronts and businesses that I know the town has worked very hard to achieve and nurture throughout the years. The 2 concepts we provided, we certainly agree that the area is in need of redevelopment. We talked about the 20-foot interior space. The only other thing we could talk about is what they're going to look like. And what we also have here is our exhibit, our presentation board C, which I think the sun's doing not a lot of help to it, possibly. And basically, it's a one-car garage, three-story townhome unit that has varying architectures. As you can see, we don't have a cookie-cutter look. It's got nice variation of both aesthetics of different peaks of the roofs, different aesthetic features of the brick or siding, different other features in that regards to help create that break and that look. And with the maximum of 6 units that we're proposing, it gives you, a nice sequential variation, but it also gives you, don't have a large mass in a row. So then you'll get some green space in the trees, and then have that be able to continue along the way. So that's really our overall presentation this evening, or at least mine. There's probably a lot more information that we could provide you, and we'll welcome that opportunity to discuss and answer any questions that the committee may have this evening.
Do you want to give a little background on the entity and your experience?
Hi, my name's Lee Brand. I'm the president of Brand Properties, Brand Management Corporation. And we put together a special single-purpose entity like we do with all of our projects for this, which is West End Development Associates, LLC, which is one of the many entities that we oversee. We're a third-generational family business. I'm the only family member presently in the business, but I'm looking to recruit some young ones. So hopefully that all works out. Our roots are in the Philadelphia and southern New Jersey area, and we have a number of projects that we own, maintain, and have developed from the ground up and redeveloped in those areas that all started back in the 1950s with my grandfather. Some recent projects that we've done, or notable projects that we've done in the area, include, as I'd mentioned before, on the residential side, we did 50 single-family homes in Gloucester City. Ryan developed the homes. We sold that out. Gloucester Township, I'm sorry. Gloucester Township. And they sold that out in approximately a year. We're in Stratford Borough right now, and we have 49 townhomes that are under construction with Ryan. We're hoping to deliver the first lots to them in about October of this year. We're getting ready to start a project with 39 singles in Monroe Township. We also have a large industrial building as part of that project as well, about 250,000 square feet in Sicklerville. And we're working on a new one with Ryan right now, which is in Glassboro, and it's 100-plus townhomes. Projects that we've completed in the past and own, a lot of commercial projects. Some of you might be familiar with the New Jersey Motorsports Park in Millville, New Jersey. It's a 500-acre entertainment project. I'm a motorsports guy. I race cars, and maybe it was a big extension on my hobby and looking to make it profitable, but we do a lot of development there as well. Right now, we're redeveloping some things there. We're building these garage condominiums. We just completed one building, sold it out. We're getting ready to do two more, and that'll be like our 8th building there. The Summers Point Plaza Shopping Center, we just redeveloped that from head to toe. We put in a new Target store, Planet Fitness, and some other notable tenants. New asphalt, new storefronts, something that started in the 1960s with a small development with my grandfather. We just did a GoPuff in Ardmore on a property we had redeveloped. We've done about 15 Dollar Generals. We're a preferred developer of Dollar General in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. In Mantua, we just completed a redevelopment of the Toll House Plaza Shopping Center. We had a vacant Kmart in there. We've redeveloped a number of vacant Kmarts. That one became a self-storage facility, and then we redid the facade parking on the rest of the center, and we're just about to fill up the last space. Overall, our portfolio is about 98% occupied. We completed in Florida the Eastgate Shopping Center in Tampa, which was a redevelopment of an old 1950s styled shopping center into a modern 100% occupied fashion center anchored by Ross and another tenant called Didi's. That's a division of Ross. In Philadelphia, we recently completed the Edison apartment buildings. It's a small short-term occupancy that we have a master lease to a group called Sonder. Very nice project in Old City. In Brooklawn, New Jersey, we completed and are on the last phase of a renovation of that entire shopping center. It's anchored by a ShopRite. We had a Kmart in there. We put in tenants like the Vita, Planet Fitness, and others. We have one vacant out parcel remaining that is, we have a lease with Chipotle. We're meeting with the town this week. It's also in a redevelopment area, and we're looking to, kind of put that at 100%. We've done numerous redevelopment agreements with towns in New Jersey. We've developed properties in redevelopment areas, pine lands, and all of our funds, are self or obtained from bank or life insurance companies. We do have some limited investors that invest along with us, but I mean, we're just a self-contained entity. We're not public. We really focus and put a lot of attention into our properties. When we can, we hold them. These type of properties are obviously for sale to home buyers, and people like Ryan Homes, I think, have recognized the kind of job that we do, and we're on one of their preferred land developers in the region. So that's about us. I think Brian gave you a good presentation on the project. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
If I could make a couple points, fill in the blanks, for the public's benefit and understanding. When we negotiated the agreement in 2011 with the prior developer, it was a no affordable housing on site. This will be the same. There will be no affordable housing here. There will be a contribution per unit that works out to about $8,000 per unit as each unit is constructed, and that'll be a contribution to the town's affordable housing fund, which will be certainly the biggest boost it's had since it was created.
So that means all the units will be
market rate units.
Yeah, so it comes out to about $40,000 per affordable housing unit, or $8,000 per unit in the property.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You mentioned Ryan, and it is part of the agreement, but officially it's okay to announce that your plan is to have Ryan build these townhomes. Is that correct?
Ryan will be building the homes. That's correct.
Part of the agreement.
NVR doing business as Ryan is.
I understand.
So Brian, that total for the affordable housing contribution is going to be how much?
If it's 60 units, it's going to be $480,000. If it's 65 unit, I believe, if my math's right, that's $520,000.
That's correct.
Okay.
We will also be the beneficiary of a payment, not by these gentlemen, but by the current owner of his back taxes that run at about $207,000. As we discussed, there may be a small credit, so somewhere in the north of the $200,000 mark, again, for the town, a lump sum payment to the town.
And that'll be from the title.
Assessed value to be paying taxes. So when that runs its course, the town will have a very nice rateable on the book.
And that also gets passed along to the homeowner, so it's an incentive.
Correct.
Yeah.
The town has reached an agreement with respect to sewer and water. Normally, the charge would be somewhere in the $4,700 range. It's going to be $3,500 per unit, and the town's going to contribute the equipment to match up to our equipment. I don't know, probably better able to explain than I, Mr. Fragioni.
Yeah, so there'll be a $3,500 connection fee per unit. 2,000, was it 2,000 for sewer, 1,500 for water, or vice versa? 2,000 for sewer, 1,500 for water. The town will furnish the water meter and the setter, horn, saddle, whatever you want to call it, for each unit.
The setter and the horn are the same thing, correct?
Yes. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Setter,
All right, that's what I
horn,
thought.
saddle, all the same thing.
So we will give you more.
Yes, yes, correct.
If we have
So
more
the town,
names, we're giving you more.
I had to look it up.
yeah, the town will furnish that for the development, but we'll be paid $3,500 per unit for the connection fees. The only thing we should note here is, I didn't know this was going to be an HOA. The $3,500 would be capped for 1-inch lines. So if you're going to put in a bigger line, we're going to have to kind of look at that. For your, I don't know what you're going to need irrigation for that green space.
I don't think we've gotten that far
So
yet.
it's not the end of the world. It's something we just have to talk about. That's all.
Anything else? Anybody have questions? I think Mr. Peterman did a nice job indicating that the impact on the area that's been really non-existent, creating shoppers and walkers and people with dogs and cats, and how they're going to frequent local businesses and breweries and pubs. That neighborhood is starting, but I think this will be a heck of an impetus to get it to the next level. And I think people in that neighborhood are going to really be proud of what that's going to look like. We didn't even talk about infrastructure improvements that are going to come with this beyond the sewer and water, et cetera. But roads and curbs and sidewalks, et cetera. It's going to change the whole complexion.
And that's, everything is by the developer.
Correct.
Yes.
Question. One
Correct.
question, I have one question. The actual co-op itself, that building, I thought I heard you say that's coming down, am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I just want to.
And this also will go through the normal review process. It's got to go through the planning, the land use, the joint land use, and the environmental commission, Pinelands. So there will be many opportunities for the public to get involved in seeing the nuts and bolts of this plan as it unfolds and through the development review process.
Correct.
The other point I just wanted to make is, and I think Brian touched on it briefly, this represents the fulfillment of a vision that was begun back in 2002, if I'm not mistaken.
2 decades ago.
It's 2 decades. Pete Carabation worked with another council, came up with an idea for this particular redevelopment area, and we've been through a long and arduous path with this, and many ups and downs, and down the rabbit hole and back a couple of times. But I really feel confident now that we are at the precipice of realizing the fulfillment of that vision statement, and I'm really pretty excited about it.
As are we.
Great.
A lot of thanks to my partner, Michael Weisberg, here, because I wanted to walk away from this thing a few times, honestly. And he stuck with it, and with the current owner of the property, and we put together an agreement. And I love the area and the project, and we really think this is going to be a great improvement to the neighborhood and a great place to live.
And like you said, now we're walking distance to a lot of things that are in town, and it's improved that part of it as well. And it's a win for the people that want to live there, because they could really walk to a lot. Yep.
And on behalf of the Quality of Life organization, I do want to say thank you for that, because I know the Environmental Commission is gonna take a look at that as well as you go through your approvals, and they're going to be very appreciative of the saving of those large, very mature trees. So thank you for working on that, as well as on behalf of the Planning Board for including sidewalks in this development, because as you had indicated, this is a very walkable part of our town.
Yes.
So making sure that foot traffic is accommodated to the maximum extent is going to be very important. So from a concept plan perspective, as well as remediating what may be some drainage issues on the roadway there, and in those properties, I think it's a great presentation. Appreciate the time.
Yeah,
Please.
I wanted to say something too. I'm Michael Weisberg. We've had several meetings with Ryan Holmes. And,
Excuse me, if you could just pull the mic up.
Yeah, we've had several meetings with Ryan Holmes, and typically when they come into a town, they kind of put in one of their lower kind of units, not their higher end units, and they knew that the area with the walkability in Hammonton was an area they wanted to get into. So when we met with them on several occasions, Lee really was insistent that they start with one of their higher end products, and were willing to commit to units that had a lot of masonry and were a much better looking townhouse, because we thought the area deserved that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
One other thing that I talked to Brian about, but we had suggested in order for the review process and the design process maybe to be a little more streamlined, and we did this on other projects when I worked with Brian when I was with ARH, but if we could meet in advance, try and, before he does hard design on some of the roadways and the utilities and grading and things like that, we would meet with them, with the planning board officials, the solicitor, the planner, and the engineer, and just maybe go through some things that we think that might be a concern, and he might be able to address those conceptually first, and then go to hard design after that. And again, this is just, they would be just comments, but they originally had to go to, the Pine Lands and to, also there was an old building, the Aggressive had some buildings on the corner of Washington and Pleasant Street. There was a manufacturing and then a store that they had. So I don't know if you'll be able to take credit for that impervious cover that was there prior to that.
Yeah, we still have a large concrete pad there that we're looking to take advantage of. Thank you.
What's the bedroom mix? Do you know the bedroom mix yet?
I think the bedroom's 3 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And like Councilman Oliva had indicated, there is some stormwater problems in there. So we might be looking for some areas we might be able to put a couple of leaching pits or maybe some small collector roof drains and put those into some recharge, maybe pits or something, swales or rain gardens. So this way the majority of the storms that would be on these units really don't even see the retention basin. They can be recharged on site.
Makes sense. A lot of times, again, we're in conceptual design, but in essence, that's why you'll see a lot more with this new green infrastructure, smaller basins, less contributing area to individual basins, staging those. A lot of times you'll get these smaller basins for the water quality or what we call the nuisance storms, and then you have the larger basins to handle the much larger storms of the 100 years and things like that. And that's what I believe Bob is indicating, to try to address those issues along with some of the ones that you have experienced already and kind of incorporate that as we move along here.
So is your plan as of now, they're all going to be 3 bedroom? I mean, I'm not holding you to that.
These units are generally 3 bedroom.
Okay.
And I do. I agree with Bob also that a concept review meeting or a pre-application meeting for the planning board would likely be a good meeting. Right. Perfect.
One other thing.
The point is, we don't want to see the engineer spend a lot of money developing preliminary plans only to rework the plans.
Just remember, we have and we acknowledge that we have a multitude of masters to address.
Right.
Yours being one of them, Pinelands County, et cetera, soils. So we have a plethora, and we understand the process. We understand it's a full engineering review and consideration through that process.
Right.
We understand that takes time and effort, but it really starts with the town here making this thing move forward.
You might want to put persistence in there.
Yes, that too.
One other thing to consider, I know it's early in the design, the 2 long basins that run along West End, are we going to be able to have parking across from those driveways?
That's what I'm looking for, is to have something along those lines, even though we're going to be able to get 3, what I envision is 3 parking spaces per unit. So we're in essence meeting that RSIS right off the bat. However, we do have on-street parking that's going to become available. That was one of the issues. The hard issue with that is kind of how we're, working to maintain those trees and still have that parking and those interactions that go with it, curb and et cetera, which is really the fine tuning.
Well, I guess my ultimate question is, if parking is available in, let's say, West End in that area, is it available for the residents who live out there, or is it going to be specifically for the HOA?
That's a good question. I mean, it's a public street, so if parking's available on the street, it's going to be available,
For residents who
anyone.
don't live in there, okay.
So, yes,
Okay.
I don't think we'll have that capability of restricting it. So
Okay.
if it's in a public right of way, it's going to be available for the public.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions from council?
And the last thing, I just want to make one point. We referenced it several times here this evening, but by doing the payment in lieu of and creating all 60 or 65 units market rate, this now sets a precedent. So going forward in other developments, we already know we can take the payment in lieu of and have minimize or eliminate the affordable housing component and take the money in lieu of. So you have market rate.
Just want to clarify for the record, this will not be a payment in lieu of, this will be a part of the abatement program. It's part of the same ordinance that you're talking about. I think I heard you talk about a pilot.
No, I'm sorry, payment in lieu of for the co-op obligation for the affordable housing. So here you're going to have 60 or 65 market rate units. Then we get a contribution to COA. But there will be no affordable component in this project, which means that should set the precedent in future projects.
And remember what we're talking about, that contribution being approximately $500,000.
Correct. 480 to 520, depending upon number of units.
Okay. We split the difference.
Okay.
Now, it's all on a per unit basis, so whatever we end up getting to the end, we'll have that 8,000 per unit.
Does that go as they're sold, that
As they
contribution?
progress, yes, as they progress through the settlement process.
And just so everyone is aware and for the public, it's a long run up from here too, right? This is the first step. After that, there's Pinelands, there's the county, environmental commission, the planning board. You know, we're talking likely a year process before we, you know, as we work our way through that, you know.
That's our hope,
So-
is somewhere around a year, give or take. You know, we all know the review process.
Right.
We know it can take, you know, we've experienced a few landmines along the way, but with the help of the redevelopment, hopefully the approval of the redevelopment and the moving forward and the town support of the redevelopment plan, that'll help go a long way with a lot of the other agency reviewers.
Well, you should know that if we approve this agreement, you will have the town support in trying to get through this.
We appreciate it.
All right, any additional discussion for council? I'd like to open up to the public for a minute, if anybody would like to be heard. Please come on up to the mic, please.
Susan Piccioni,
Susan, what's your address again? I'm sorry.
232 South Washington.
Thank you.
What is the price range for these homes?
Probably mid-threes, maybe it could get much higher.
The market will dictate that, and Ryan Holmes will comment that, but that's a good range.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said the range was.
Mid-threes.
Probably in the mid-threes to maybe even 4.
Okay. Of course, we don't know what the economy is going to do, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And some of the buyers have upgrades if they would like, so it all.
Sure.
Usually there's a big difference between the base price and what they already sold.
Exactly.
Understand that.
Okay. Anybody else from the public like to be heard, please? Seeing no one, we'll close that public portion. All right. With that, I'd accept a motion from council to approve this project.
So moved,
For
Mayor.
this
We have
resolution.
resolution
It's
106.
Resolution 106. It's approving the redevelopment of West End Avenue.
You got it, Mayor.
Woolerman first,
I'll second that motion.
second Olivo. Any additional discussion on the motion?
I just want to make known for the public's knowledge that I received a copy of this proposal in advance of tonight's meeting, and although I'm not present right now, I have reviewed it and feel confident in voting on it.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Gribben. Thank you.
No, I'd like to personally express support for this project. I think it's a great project for this area, as I think we've all talked a little bit about today. Certainly stipulate to Mr. Peterman's qualifications, working with our planning board a number of times, and looking forward to reviewing these plans in more detail as they come before the planning board. But I certainly think this is the type of development that we're looking for in this area.
Okay, thank you. Additional discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Yes.
Gribben?
Yes.
Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
And Mayor DiDonato.
Yes, motion carried.
The only thing we have to do now, Mayor, is approve Brian's.
Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Great job. Wish you luck.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
All right, we have to approve Mr. Howell's rate to represent us in this matter since it's a conflict. It's a rate of $300 an hour. Could I get a motion from council, please? Gribben first.
Second.
Second, Oliva. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Fagioni?
Yes.
Gribben? Oliva?
Yes.
Olivo?
Yes.
Rodeo?
Yes.
Woolerman?
Yes.
Eddie? I'm sorry, Councilman
I
Woolerman?
said yes.
Okay. Mayor DiDonato?
Yes, motion carried.
Apologize, I didn't hear you.
With that, I accept the, is there anything else for the good of the order?
Well, unless the public.
Yeah, we got to open the public. Go ahead, Stephen.
All right, Mayor, I have one final thing. I want to give the residents a heads up. In July, I got the numbers last week. We pumped 60 million gallons of water for the month of July. Just to give you a little bit of standard, last year in 2021 in July, we pumped 52 million. So we're up about 17, 18%. I know it's hot. I know we have not gotten rain in I don't even know how long. But just please be mindful of your irrigation, because I don't want anyone to get shocked in the fall. I had Mr. DeChico give me the numbers today. For the first 7 days of August, we pumped 20 million gallons. We're on an 80 million gallon month. That would be extraordinary for the month of August. We're pumping 3 wells, 12 to 14 hours a day now, 3,000 gallons a minute. So I just want to caution everyone. I don't want anyone's lawn to die either. I don't want my lawn to die. I don't want your bushes and trees to die. But just remember, please be cognizant, because it gets expensive. And I'll just leave you with a tip. If you water each zone in your lawn 30 minutes, cut it in half, go 15 minutes, wait 2 or 3 hours, do 15 minutes again. And then if you go every other day, go every third day. By reducing the amount of water you put down at one time, you should be able to get yourself an extra day. But just please be cognizant of it, and just, I'm going to make the announcement again in August, but I fear the way we're going, that if we hit 80 million gallons, that is just a tremendous number. So please be mindful. Water is not cheap, it's expensive, and try to do your best to, obviously only water at night. Please do not water during the day. It's just a total waste of your money. So I just want everyone to be cognizant of that, and please be aware that we are using an extraordinary amount of water. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Third opportunity for the public to be heard. If anybody would like to step to the mic. Seeing no one, we'll close that public portion. Anything else for the good of the order?
Mr. Mayor, I just want, I know at the end of our July meeting, at that time, we had not received the tax rate from the county. Since that time, on, I believe, July 27th, we did receive the new tax rate from the county. It went down slightly, but I just want to update the residents on that, and they will, obviously the water rates will due August 1st, but their tax bills will be due 30 days thereafter, right?
Yeah, mid-September.
Roughly the 1st to second week in September. Right now, we're anticipating.
That's all.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Gribbin. Yeah, if everybody looks at your tax rate, there was a total of a 1 cent tax decrease across the board. So there's, I think taxes were $273.9 per hundred. Now they're $272.9 by memory, if I'm doing it right. So there's a 1 penny decrease. We're about on $100,000, roughly about $78. Okay. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Liva.
Second.
For Joni, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, Hammonton. Thank you very much.
Good night, all. Thank you.